There are reports the Prime Minister will be meeting with his Finance Minister today as the two try to sort out what's being called a growing rift between them. Sources telling our sister station BNN Bloomberg that Trudeau and Morneau are meeting to discuss their working relationship, which has reportedly become strained over that major ethics scandal rocking the Trudeau government involving the We Charity for Young People, but also a reported division between the two over how pandemic spending is going to be rolled out to help Canada get through this crisis. For more, the host of CTV's Power Play Question Period, Evan Solomon, standing by in the Capitol today. Evan, good to see you. What's happening here?
Well, the end of Bill Morneau's time as the finance minister is happening, and it's not a question of if, but when. Sources have told me that they're already looking for a replacement. Now, they don't get along on some things, but finance ministers and prime ministers have a long history of healthy tension. And sometimes it leads to a breaking point. For the Liberals, the most famous example is the Chrétien Martin years, where they were rivals. But they worked together and they did a lot of great work together. Stephen Harper and Jim Flaherty did a lot of great work together. In the end, they did not get along at all. Bill Morneau and Justin Trudeau, both under ethics commissioner investigations because of the We Charity and the fact that they didn't recuse themselves. For Justin Trudeau, it's the fact that his wife, brother, and mother were paid by the We Charity. For Bill Morneau, there's two big things. One, his daughter works there, and two, his family took a vacation with the We Charity, and they had to pay back $41,000 the very day he stepped in front of the Finance Committee. But Bill Morneau has, despite the fact that he has a defensible record as the finance minister, and he's done some things that he would believe have been incredibly good. He said he would believe and he would argue, I've stopped this country from going into a depression with the massive spending and things like the CERB, which have been wildly successful. Before that, he extended CPP. He got a healthcare deal with the provinces. He's got a case to say, hey, I've been a decent finance minister. But he's politically clumsy. He's been a liability on his villa, now on the We Charity issue. And someone's got to take the fall, and his time is done. Now, the leaks from the Liberal government about the tension between the two, and I hear they are meeting, comes at a time where there are other reports that the Liberals are trying to recruit new people for this next coming election. What I think is going to happen here, Todd, is, you know, when you replace a finance minister, it's not like replacing your winter tires on your car. It's like dropping a new engine in your car. It's a big, serious, expensive operation. They're not going to boot Bill Morneau out. They got to find a landing place for him. So where is that? Deputy Prime Minister and Chrystia Freeland and he do a swap? Is he Foreign Affairs? Do they do a cabinet shuffle in October? I think that's what we should watch for, an early fall cabinet shuffle. But they got to find a place to land for Bill Morneau because they've got an election probably within the next year. And I don't think he's going to make it there as the finance minister.
And what about the whole Mark Carney situation? You know, the former Bank of Canada governor, Bank of England governor, he's kind of there in the background, too, as an informal advisor to Trudeau on the COVID-19 situation.
Yeah, absolutely is. And full disclosure, I've known Mr. Carney for many, many years. So has my wife, as family friends before he got involved in all this. So full disclosure on that. But he's been in all the papers recently. He's arrived back in Canada. To be fair, both the Conservatives and the Liberals have long wanted to recruit Mr. Carney. Remember, it was Stephen Harper who appointed him and David Cameron, a Conservative, who appointed him at the Bank of England. But he's written a lot on things like climate. He's now working at the United Nations for nothing as a climate advisor. And I think the Conservatives are seeing that he's probably bending more on the progressive side, especially on that issue. So he's a hot piece on the board. But guess what? He's not doing anything right now. He's not saying yes to the Liberals. He's not saying yes to the Conservatives. He's a private citizen. But I do think those stories are a sign that the clock is ticking loudly on Bill Morneau. I don't see Carney coming in immediately right now. There's no by-election he's going to run in. I don't think he'll run in York Centre. Who knows? He may surprise, but he said nothing about any of that. And so I do think it's going to be something internal. And I think if you're Bill Morneau, you're kind of like you were the starting quarterback and suddenly the general manager is looking for a recruit. And that means your game time's up.
Good to talk to you, Evan, and thanks for this. Appreciate it.